Welcome to a Trucker's Mind podcast. I'm Eddie McGee.
It's your boy K Finks.
We're back, man. Episode 193.
Yes, sir.
Man, we only a couple pods away from 200, man. This shit is getting real out here.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Appreciate you guys that listen from episode 1 all the way here. We don't expect it. That's a lot of fucking content. I don't even know how many hours we have now. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
We oh my God. We got to be around 20,000 minimum.
Yeah.
Probably over.
I'll say so.
Right
the
around.
podcast be lengthy too.
Yeah, 20,000 hours of content. I'll have to do the math and just the average, but it's got to be around 20,000.
They should have a thing. That would be dope. It's probably somewhere on SoundCloud.
It's some type of total
like
calculator.
The total hours posted or something.
That shit is stupid. Yo. All right, let's get right into it. First off, we'll start with the unfortunate news. Rest in peace to Virgil Abloh. For those who did not know who he was, I will go into detail of what he did. Virgil Abloh. Virgil Abloh, artistic director for Louis Vuitton and Off-White founder, dies of cancer. Virgil Abloh, acclaimed menswear designer for Louis Vuitton and founder and CEO of Off-White, died Sunday of cancer, according to a post from his verified Instagram account. He was 41. We are devastated to announce the passing of our beloved Virgil Abloh, a fiercely devoted father, husband, son, brother, and friend. He is survived by his loving wife, Shannon Abloh, and his kids, Lo Abloh and Gray Abloh, his sister, Edwina Abloh, his parents, Nee and Eunice Abloh, and numerous dear friends and colleagues, the post read. For over 2 years, Virgil valiantly battled a rare, aggressive form of cancer, cardiac angiosarcoma. I think it's how you say it. Jeez, cardiac. That means it was in the heart. Oh my God. I didn't know you get cardiac cancer in your heart.
Yeah, I never heard of that either.
Oh my goodness. Jeez. He chose to endure the battle privately since his diagnosis in 2019, undergoing numerous challenging treatments, all while helming several significant institutions that span fashion, art, and culture. So special shout out and rest in peace to Virgil Abloh. For all those that have wore like a Off-White product, it looks almost like on the shoes at least, they have like, you know, those tags you get from the store that have that plastic button that holds it there, except his had like, they were thick. It's like thick, and it was like a recreation of a shoe that already existed.
Yeah, he kind of like remixed some shoes. He also was a person that was doing like cover art for different people's albums too.
Right. He didn't do Drake's, did he?
No, he didn't do Drake's.
He did Drake's? I can't remember.
That's another artist. But he did A$AP Rocky's. I think he did some stuff with Kanye West and a couple other people. So just an overall artist. Right. And I think like we had the conversation beforehand, but just like comparing Virgil Abloh to the kind of complaint culture that we deal with currently. You know, it's people complaining about work. It's people complaining about, complaining about siblings, complaining about their parents, complaining about their husband, complaining about their wives. Meanwhile, somebody, is going through, their days are numbered and, the number is far smaller than, the average person because they're dealing with something that's, terminal. And I just think that we have to kind of reshape the way we communicate our feelings and emotions sometimes, because it is okay to to voice your feelings and emotions, but you just have to think about the person you're speaking to, because I'm sure there was somebody that might have worked at Louis Vuitton or Off-White or whatever, and they come in and they're just like, oh, my day is going so terrible. I ran over a nail on the way to work. My tire was flat, and I had to wait 30 minutes for the tow truck to, complaining. And they might be complaining to Virgil. And meanwhile, he's dealing with, this deathly cancer, and he probably wouldn't even say anything. But, if you kind of look at things in retrospect, or, that person, and obviously this is a fictitious example, but if you think about that person complaining to Virgil about, their tire being flat, and they're complaining to him like it's the end of the world.
Yeah.
While he's battling cancer. And he's like, I wish my problems were that small.
Honestly, you just need to shut the fuck up sometimes. You really do. Like, and if you do complain, you have to learn how to change the language of it. They'll be like, man, how's your day? It started off kind of shitty, man. I got a nail in my tire and shit, but hey, it's all good. I'm blessed, man. I'm here. I'm here.
Yeah.
You have to change the way you communicate when you are frustrated, because you could be complaining about a nail in your tire to a person that just lost their wife to cancer. You could be complaining about a nail in a tire to someone who has fucking terminal cancer. You could be complaining and bitching to somebody that's dealing with way more heavier shit than you are. So sometimes you got to tell yourself, like, if you have a close group of people you can vent to, talk to, a therapist or whatever, learn to count your blessings instead of just vomiting all of your fucking despair to people. Like, literally, you really need to tell yourself to shut the fuck up. Because I've done it before. Like, I was talking to another truck driver, like, man, I got to go grab this and go over it. Never mind. It's not a big deal, bro. It's not a big deal. Hey, you be safe.
Yeah.
Especially recently. You will, once you start learning to tell yourself to shut the fuck up, you'll realize how much you complain about things.
Yeah. That's how I am. I'll do the same thing. Not in those words exactly, but if I do like catch myself just like, I'm tired of this person getting on my nerves. I wish this person would, do this and that. I'd be like, I would just catch myself like, man, I need to stop complaining. I'm blessed to be in this position.
100%. And then you put things into perspective too. And you also be like, it brings you clarity when you complain about something. And it's like you're complaining about a person or thing where, what did you expect from this motherfucker? Like you've seen somebody doing the same shit and then you just complaining about it. It's not going to change the outcome either.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm complaining about something where the outcome's not going to change. I've seen this shit happen before. And I also could be complaining to somebody that's dealing with way more heavier shit. How about I just go shut the fuck up and go sit down somewhere?
Yeah.
That's probably the best solution at that moment.
Yeah. I know a guy, Ricky. I met Ricky because he lives in our apartments. But when I met Ricky, I literally only spoke to him because he had a bunch of like Marvel, DC comic stickers and stuff on his car, and one of them was like the Black Panther emblem. So I it's just like, sometimes like God just puts something on your heart, like, hey man, you should talk to him. It may, for somebody out there that may not be religious and may not be God, it may just be like this instinct or intuition you have. So when I seen him one day, he was getting out of his car. I was like, hey man, you're a fan of, Batman and stuff like that? And I was like, and we just chopped it up for like 15 minutes. And he was like, yeah, I got all the toys and stuff in the house and the action figures and all this kind of stuff. So we had like a cool casual conversation, and then every time, from then on, I would see him and I would talk to him, and then eventually, when we start talking more and more, he talked about his battle with cancer, and I forget the type of cancer he had, but he was just telling me like how he's going to chemo and how he changed his diet, how he switched from, he stopped eating meat and he has a vegan diet now, and he's working out and all these different things. And, just the lifestyle changes he made, in order to help his health. And then, I think right after Chadwick Boseman died, maybe a week or so after that, I talked to him. He was basically telling me that he had the same exact cancer that Chadwick Boseman had. So it's just kind of ironic that he had the emblem on his car, and he was battling the same issues that Chadwick Boseman had. And you think about how sometimes these beacons or these like superheroes become like bigger than just the action star that you see on the silver screen. They become like same thing for like a Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant for some people was like a basketball player, but there's some people that he literally changed people's lives with his mentality and the Mamba mentality, the work ethic and the life lessons and stuff you learn. But I say that to say like a guy like Ricky, a guy like Chadwick Boseman, and I probably would think the same thing about Virgil, is oftentimes these people are more positive, more happy. They're more full or more fulfilled than a lot of the people that we're speaking about that just have this complaint this complaining mentality about them. So you just have to like put things into perspective. Somebody that is battling cancer, like the guy Ricky I told you about, like every time I see him, he's always smiling, asking me how I'm doing. You know, he's telling me even in times where he's like, man, I'm in remission right now. I lost a bunch of weight, but, you know, I'm still going at it. Like always has a smile on his face. So, you know, basically we just have to, you know, rethink the way that we're, is it echoing?
Yeah, you heard it?
What the heck?
You heard that? It was you, dude.
And you hear it in your headphones?
I don't hear it in my headphones, though.
Oh.
It's coming from somewhere over there.
I don't know what that is.
It's a fucking metronome or something? What the heck? Is that my phone? Is that my phone?
Is your phone recording?
It's my phone? What the fuck? It popped up an old podcast. I don't know what that was about.
Was that what happened earlier too?
I don't know. No, that wasn't what happened earlier.
It was just, because I heard it in the headphones.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck? Why am I hearing two Keiths?
One Keith is enough.
Yeah, one Keith's enough. We don't need two nerds in here. So one nerd capacity.
Nah, but what I was saying is like, as far as the guys like Ricky and Chadwick Boseman, these are like people to the day they die, they're always going to have this positive outlook, you know, on life, this glass half full outlook on life. And we have no excuse as a person not dealing with the same type of life issues that they're dealing with, or like deathly issues that they're dealing with, to just be so pessimistic or just be so sad and complaining all the time.
There's two ways to look at this. I think I understand why this happens a lot. It's almost like an elderly person telling you, like, you really should go to church. You should really go to church. Mm-hmm. Elderly people will feel that way and go to church and want people to go to church because they're closer to death.
Yeah.
So when you're closer to death in any way, shape, or form, your like life viewpoint may change. Mm-hmm. It's a strong possibility. I'm not saying you will be more of a positive person, this, that, and the third automatically, but you look at life through like a completely different vantage point when you know your days are numbered. Mm-hmm. Like if a doctor tells you got 4 weeks to live, like some people are going to try to get the most out of life and they're going to try to be positive when they die till they die. But what the problem with us is we have a privilege that we exist with because we don't know when we're going to die. So we act like we're going to live forever. We complain all the fucking time. We eat bad diets. We bitch and moan because we think we're going to live forever. Mm-hmm. That's one of the problems. Mm-hmm. When we could be just like Virgil Abloh, we could be just like your neighbor, right? Mm-hmm. But we're on the outside of, when we're on the outside of death, we feel so great about bitching and complaining about shit.
Yeah.
But when your life's on the line and it's the number one thing that holds precedent over everything in your life, it changes how you view things.
That would be interesting, like as a case study or something. Like, how would people move differently if they knew when their last day on Earth would be?
Mm-hmm. That's dude. I guarantee you, if you told the average person that they had 2 months to live, first of all, they quit their job.
Yeah.
They quit their job. They would take their kids, try to go on some vacation. They try to do everything that they've never done. They would do so much shit. They would do so many things. They would challenge themselves. They would jump out of a plane with a parachute on. They would do all kinds of shit when you can actually do that shit without having a death sentence.
Yeah.
But it's just the way we look at life, man. That's just.
But I mean, we all do have a death sentence. It's just that the people that are battling cancer knows it's probably coming a little bit sooner than if they died of natural causes.
But that's the privilege we have. We have a death sentence without a date on it. Mm-hmm. So that's still a privilege in our minds. Just the way our brains operate is just the wrong way. Mm-hmm. You know, I just told you before the podcast. I'm not going to get into detail. Like, yo, I can't sit back and, you know. Well, we'll get into that into the next topic. We'll just move on. Switching gears, finding counter arguments to your excuses. We tell ourselves shit like, you know what, man, like I've been working all day. I'm tired. I'm gonna go to sleep. I'm not going to the gym. I'm too tired to go. And we say things like that because those excuses sound best to the person that's making them up. This is what we do. But if you find the counter argument in your excuses, then it will eliminate that argument and propel you to do what you should be doing. If you said, I'm too tired to go to the gym. The counter argument is, hey, so you want to just be a fat motherfucker that's tired of the way you look and insecure about how you look all the time when you can actually do something about it instead of sitting there? Oh, I'm too busy. I have kids. Oh, so you want to die at the age of 37, 38 years old and leave your kids early because you don't care about your health? Mm-hmm. Like the counter argument is so much stronger than the excuse. This is why excuses destroy us. I'm speaking as a person who has made many excuses in my life. No excuses I've made have made me a better person. Not one fucking excuse that I've made has ever made me a better person. And it sucks, but you have to find the counter argument in every excuse you want to make in order to actually make sense. Oh, I don't feel like going to the gym. I'm tired. So you mean to tell me you don't want to go to the gym because you're tired, but it's a kid or it's a person that's paralyzed from the waist down that wishes they could just fucking walk, and you can't take your lazy ass to the gym? Think about this shit, man. Mm-hmm. The same shit you take for granted and all the excuses you make, somebody wishes they could have your body in the worst condition just so they could fucking walk.
Yeah.
And you sit here day after day, just as the time goes by, each 24-hour clock, it is a new excuse. It is a new lack of intention, a lack of motivation, lack of just self-worth, lack of value, lack of everything. And it's all based in excuses.
Do you think there's a such thing as more of a legit excuse?
A legit excuse is like, and honestly, there's not very many legit excuses. There's some, but when I'm gonna tell you what gives me motivation, bro. What gives me motivation is not turning on Instagram and seeing some strong person lifting a bunch of weights or seeing a motivational speech. What gives me motivation is when I go to the gym and I see an 87-year-old man working out. Mm-hmm. When I see an old lady working out, when I see a person with disabilities working out, when I see somebody in a fucking wheelchair working out, I'm like, I have zero excuse. If this person found the motivation to get up in their situation, imagine waking up being Joe Biden's age and you got to motherfucking go to the gym. Mm-hmm. Like, that's crazy to think about that. Mm-hmm. But it's a bunch of people my age and younger that are defeated, that are fat, that just fucking gave up on themselves already. Mm-hmm. You got to cut that shit out, man. Society is not going to make reservations for you. And you know what? You know what? I will say this. Society makes reservations for the weak, not for strong people. When you show that you have integrity and you going after it and you working hard, the moment you start hurting and want to make an excuse, people looking at you like, oh, why is he making excuses? Mm-hmm. There's a family member of mine, right? I won't say no names, but there's an aunt of mine that was on my case, right? On my case, she would get mad or yell or whatever. And there was a family member of mine who wasn't doing shit with his life, and she never yelled at him. And the reason why is because he was a poor excuse for a human being. But being as I had potential and integrity, whenever I was slacking on my game, she got on my ass because she seen the disparity. She seen a person that's able-bodied and that wanted to do it and got on them, who was me, versus the person who just was a fucking excuse of a person, and she just gave up on him.
Yeah.
So it was easy to give an excuse to him like, oh, well, he ain't no good.
Yeah. I think the society and the world in general is there's always going to be room for an excuse.
Yeah.
In terms of you're speaking about working out and how your schedule and your time of day may not align.
Yep.
If you're a person that if you're a black man in America and you want to achieve success, you can always point to the fact that there's, discrimination in the workplace, or I'm not getting hired because of this, or I'm not getting hired because of that. There's a huge wealth gap. We're not afforded the same opportunities.
It's always going to be an excuse.
You're always going to be, able to find something. I think the thing that, for me, and the thing that a defining quality with the most successful people is that they don't even pay attention to those things, or if they do pay attention to those things, they're using it as a motivation.
Yeah.
So we all know that it's not as prevalent for black people to own houses. But that doesn't mean like we're not going to strive to do it. That doesn't mean we're not trying to build this, portfolio of properties, apartments, and houses, and ideally one day live in a nice house ourselves. We all know that is the retention rate for Black people going to college is very low. So that doesn't mean like that. I obviously have my degree, but that doesn't mean like I just gave up and I'm like, oh, okay, it's hard to get my degree, or Black people, they don't get a fair shake when it comes to applying to schools and all that. Some people can use that as an excuse. And what we're here saying is that it's not legit. You're always going to be able to find some excuse in anything you do. But I think that, like I said before, the thing that makes the outliers, as we speak of, the uber successful people, is those are the people that didn't pay attention to statistics. They didn't pay attention to, what you would deem as like discrimination or racism. We're like, even in this office, it's only maybe, in this building, it's only maybe like 2 or 3 Black people that have offices in there. Mm-hmm. But we could have easily came in here and be like, it's
ain't
cool.
No Black people here. We not gonna come in here.
Yeah, like let's just, we could keep recording at the crib. We don't necessarily need to invest in the sound quality and all these different things, because more than likely we're not gonna get heard anyways. Like it's very difficult to be successful as a podcaster, and you could, any way you turn, you're gonna be able to find an excuse.
Yeah, you're gonna be. And the thing about it, after this, we'll be having 193 episodes. And what keeps me going is because, or keeps us going, is because I actually love doing this. I actually love expressing myself. And the thing about it is, I could easily say, man, I ain't never going to be successful in podcasting. And I ain't.
Just say some of the excuses that you've heard when you've either mentioned to people about podcasting or people that have podcasts that are not as consistent.
I've heard things, there's no point of being that consistent. Or, I had to stop because, life happened. I just got tired, or, this or that. Or, oh, man, nobody really makes money doing podcasts anyways. Only this % of people make podcasts. And the whole time I'm thinking like, fuck you. Fuck what you talking about. Mm-hmm. I know where my life's going. I know what I want to do. Mm-hmm. So it's like, you could say this about your reality. That's not my reality, buddy. Mm-hmm. My reality is straight tunnel vision. Yeah. I'm seeing too many motherfuckers getting paid for podcasts. For me, that's not even what drives me. The money doesn't drive me. If it was money, then I would have quit a long time ago. Mm-hmm. If I wasn't passionate, I would have quit when I seen 7 listens on the fucking podcast. Mm-hmm. We first started, nobody listened to this shit. Nobody was really listening. I would start sending just some inboxes to people, for if they got a chance to listen one day to listen. Eventually I stopped, but the numbers kept going up and up and up and up. But dog, honestly, motherfuckers will make an excuse for anything. Mm-hmm. That's the bottom line. I don't want to jump all over the place, but wouldn't it be a shame if you died just because you couldn't stop eating terrible? Wouldn't that be a fucked up reality? Mm-hmm. You've made it through so much. Some people made it through poverty. Some people made it through abuse. And you died because you couldn't stop eating cheeseburgers? Think about how fucking stupid that is. Just think about that. Mm-hmm. Think about it. It's fucked up. I know. And I know I sound like I'm fat shaming, all of this. I go through a battle with dropping my weight, but it's based on me not always being accountable. It's based on me not properly counting calories, preparing myself. So I'm accountable for when I fuck up. But the sad thing is, even though that's the case, I see so many people, diabetes runs in my family, man. Yeah.
I'm just big bone.
I'm just a big guy. Everybody's in my family is big. That don't mean you got to be big. That don't mean you got to have diabetes. That doesn't mean you got to be broke. That don't mean you got to be fat. That don't mean you got to be stupid because everybody in your family is stupid. Mm-hmm. You have an opportunity to change that. Your life is about you, bro. At the end of the day, I don't give a fuck how fucked up your life was, how broke and how poor you grew up, because I grew up poor and it was not fun. It was tough. When I think about Christmas too, or holidays, I think about times where we didn't have no Christmas gifts. We was little kids crying because we didn't get no gifts. You seeing your neighbors, friends, and people getting stuff, playing with their toys, and we didn't have nothing. You think about that stuff. But I seen all that shit growing up, and I didn't make a decision that I'm going to be poor my whole life. No.
Yeah.
Fuck no. I reached a crossroad in my life and said, yo, I'm not going down that way. If I ever have kids, I'm not passing down poverty to my fucking kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That whole cycle stops with me. I will not use the prequel to my life as an excuse for my present. Mm-hmm. Fuck no.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I think that's, like I said before, that's the defining quality of successful people. And if you don't believe us, you could listen to any interview where the guy is like, just anybody that defied the odds. Think about, and these people are not only like the best at their crafts, but if you think about the distance traveled, it's ridiculous.
Right.
You think about a guy like Tom Brady. Was he a 6th round draft pick?
6th round.
You know what I mean? A guy like Steph Curry who went to a mid-major, and now he's arguably like, he's just every game that he's playing nowadays, he's just creeping higher and higher on the, all-time list, especially as far as point guards go. Even, as far as like even a guy like Kobe Bryant, who was always really great at basketball, but he was the first guard to come out of high school. You know what I mean?
Man, you got to narrow it down to this too when it comes to, excuses and how they could delete. They could kind of delete the inspiration that you need in your mind. Like, there'll be people that say stuff, just because Joe Budden or Rory and Mal or Joe Rogan make money, it doesn't mean you're going to get paid. Like, you may never get paid. And just like, bro, let me be clear when I say this. You mean to tell me that a motherfucker with 2 arms and 2 legs just like me accomplished that and I can't accomplish it?
Yeah.
Who the fuck are you to tell me what I can't do with myself?
Especially when it comes to communicating. Because when you're looking at, great communicators, it's easy to see like who's good and who's not.
100%.
Like I was telling you about it earlier. I was texting Eddie about like, because I was watching guys like Michael Strahan and Reggie Bush have like these great post NFL careers. You know what I mean? Michael Strahan is all over daytime television and whatnot, smiling with that gap in his mouth. And
spitting on everybody.
And the thing that the quality that both of them have is that outside of being a great athlete, they were able to speak really well. So that transition from being, the defensive end, that transition from being a running back, turned into them being able to sit on a panel and, put a suit on or whatever and speak clearly about the game of football or speak clearly about, news or celebrity entertainment, whatever the case may be. And we have that same skill set, you know what I mean? So it's not far-fetched for us to think that we will be successful. It's not far-fetched to us, maybe to somebody else, and maybe like, oh, they're just, 2 dudes from Bakersfield, why do they think that they could be, successful money-making podcasters? Charlemagne said it himself, and we were thinking that we needed to have 30,000 listens every episode or like 500,000 listens every episode. But he was saying like, what was it, like 2,000 every month is top 3% of podcasters.
I don't think it was 2,000. I think it was like 1,800 something.
18?
I think it was around 2. It might have been around 2.
Somewhere in there. But whatever he said was top 3%. And we be knocking on the door at that all the time.
All the time. And what's weird, too, is like you don't realize it, but most podcasts are not successful.
Yeah.
And there's a ton of them. It's it's very oversaturated. So to believe you can make it in something like that, it almost seems delusional. But like, it's crazy how we look at it as delusional, but then we will literally buy tickets to a comedy show, and being a comedian is almost a delusional type of occupation.
Yeah, I think even I was talking to my brother. I don't even want to put that out there, but I know this artist personally, and his numbers, his streaming numbers are not too crazy. They're in like I would say like five digits every for the monthly listens, and he makes a good living. He makes 4 figures every month. To live off of, which is a decent, it's a really good high paying job if you were just clocking in every day. But he's doing that, making money off of his streams. So to think like he's not Drake, he's not J. Cole, he's not, Kendrick or Kanye or whatever. He's not that successful, but he's able to pay his bills. He's able to, have a little bit of fun, and all while just making music. And he can walk in, excuse me, talking a lot, but he can walk into a Target still. He can walk into obviously people recognize him, as far as, just walking around. But for the most part, he's not having people bum rush him.
Right.
And he could live a great life and put out the kind of music he wants to.
Another thing too is don't allow somebody else's metric for success be yours. Yeah. Like, don't let it be your metric for success. If you said, like, well, just because Rory and Mal got $10 million for their deal and Joe Rogan got $100 million for his deal, don't mean you'll reach anywhere close. If we got 800,000, if we got $1 million, that's success.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money to literally speak on a microphone. By the way, when it comes to being a communicator, you mean to tell me that communicating is not something that is, it's kind of hard. Like you need, like, there's so many people that get paid to communicate, and this is completely, this is maybe bias or it's not really an objective take, but there are people that get paid a lot of money that communicate a lot less better than me and Keith. Mm-hmm. I'm just being real. They make a lot of money to be mediocre communicators. Mm-hmm. People that cut each other off during conversation, people who just yell and scream, people who put out false information, people, all kind of shit, and they get paid a lot of money.
Yeah.
What's weird too, though, is I know me and Keith will be successful long term, but it's weird, and I don't say I get salty, but I low key be getting salty sometimes when I see people like, I'm an island boy and just trying to make it. You see them get a moment, right? And the moment's massive. Mm-hmm. Millions of people see these weird looking motherfuckers doing this shit with the crazy hair, right? Looking like a character off Rugrats. And they get all this attention, and I'm pretty sure they turn it into some type of money.
Yeah.
But it's like, can you imagine what me and Keith could accomplish with that type of attention?
Yeah.
The type of audience we can build with that type of fucking following, man.
Yeah.
But there's that. I mean, it's
the road less traveled. J. Cole said it in at his concert. He talked about, like, how essentially how is the success feels much better, and it's more sustainable when you take the long road. When you have one of these, like, when you if you kind of look at J. Cole's career, he put out like maybe 3 mixtapes, and then his debut album came out. But he didn't reach the height of his popularity until his actual album came out, and they put the marketing money behind it. But if you think about the Island Boys probably did what took J. Cole maybe 4 or 5 years, 6 years maybe, in one post.
Yeah.
It may have happened in 6 days, that peak popularity. You got, talk show hosts and TikToks and every podcaster speaking about the Island Boys. But
we skipped them. We didn't even talk about them till now.
Yeah.
Until they got fucking booed off stage.
But we know that, a month from now, it's just going to be a joke.
Yeah. That's the thing, man. People got to realize the shit that they get popular for on social media. You have to determine the shelf life of what you're doing. When you're like, I'm an island, but you got about 3 weeks to shine. You got about 3 weeks to shine off that. When you got a big old booty and some big old titties, and you got a new post with your titties and your ass out, that's gonna last you a little bit. But nobody's gonna take you serious.
Yeah.
And you could get bread. Let me be clear. These women that are on Instagram get paid a lot of money. There was a girl that was going through what she got paid through different companies. Through only one company that had her post. She only had to post 3 times a month for this company. She made $10,000 a month.
That's crazy.
For posting on Instagram.
But that is because she's posting titties or whatever. But it's more so it's analytics. It's a numbers game.
Yeah.
Right? So anybody, not to say that that person is not like successful or whatever, but I'm saying if a person that was just like, if me or you had, I don't know how many, she had like 1.5 million followers. If I had 1.5 million followers, it definitely would be somebody hitting me up like, hey,
That's a fact.
Post this,
That's a fact.
Yeah, but
That's a fact. Yeah, that's true. So either way, yeah.
gotta get your numbers up, man.
Yeah, and the thing about it is when you don't do things for shock value, or you don't do things that are trendy or whatever, it's gonna take you so long. Like I got a lot of respect for artists, especially like Larry June. You know Larry June? You know who Larry June is? Larry June is dope. He out of San Francisco. He got a dope following, bro. Like he got like a grassroots following.
Yeah.
So yeah, Larry June is one. Currency.
Yeah.
Young Dolph, who's another one like that? The independent type. Nipsey was one of them for sure.
Yeah.
But guys like that, bro, it take them forever to get off the ground. Like forever. Mozzie, another one.
Yeah.
Take him forever. When you E40, back in the day, E40 independent. He's one of the rare cases though.
Yeah.
Like he actually had a pretty decent sized name.
Pretty much any I think Young Dolph was with Empire. So anybody with Empire, because what Empire does is they give the artist a favorable split, but they probably kick them some marketing money to shoot music videos and to promote their album and stuff like that.
He said he paid for all of that though.
Who, Young Dolph?
Yeah, Dolph said that was all out of pocket.
Oh, I'm sure there was some split though because he signed to Empire, or else like why would you sign to a distribution deal in some capacity? But
yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know how long he was with. Was he with him?
Yeah, he was that one of those songs you sent me. He shouted Empire out on there. Yeah,
distribution.
So, yeah, usually it'd be like it may be like a 80-20 split on everything with the distribution and maybe a few marketing dollars here and there.
It's crazy. And you think about a lot of artists, like he was willing to bet on himself. Rest in peace to Dolph. But he was willing to like bet on himself. It was an artist, I forgot who it was, but they had a show and he was like, hey, he's like, let me I want to open for you. And he showed up with like $12,000. And he paid to do like 12, or I think somebody paid, or Dolph. Well, Dolph was on the streets. He just paid to do 12,000 cash right there
to open up for the
open up for one of the big artists that came into town, and then people was like, "Oh, who was Dolph?" And then that's how it popped off.
That's street money, man. That's investing it in the right places.
If that's like, to be real, if you told me and Keith right now, like, yo, we could take this podcast to the next level if we spent $3,000 in marketing and we would have guaranteed growth all over America, I would pay $3,000, 100%.
Yeah,
not on some internet hack shit, but like I would love to pay $3,000 knowing that I would get 400,000 people looking at the content. Because if you get a couple 100,000 people to look at it and you sustain only 200,000 people, it's a lot of fucking people. Those 200,000 people can turn to another minimum 30, 40,000 followers. That can also turn into, who is Keith? Who is that guy?
Yeah.
Let's get Keith to promote these glasses for us. Let's get Eddie to promote our jumpsuits.
Yeah.
Puma be like, yo, let's kick Eddie some marketing money or some sponsorship and give him some more of those Puma suits.
It's so, like I was saying before, that those analytics are everything, man. It doesn't, as far as like, sometimes it'd be like somebody with 30 million followers that'll release a song and it goes nowhere. But when it comes to like real authentic, followers, followers you haven't paid for and all that nonsense, like,
bruh,
you move the needle.
Yeah. I don't got followers like that, but I tell you what, each and every follower I got is a real person. Well, no, I can't verify that because sometimes I see them weird robot accounts pop up.
Yeah,
it'd be like cryptocurrency. Like
you haven't paid for followers though.
No, I haven't paid for no followers. It'd just be some random person following me. You're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, dude, I'd be getting those too.
Yeah, it'd be like
you'd be thinking
Bitcoin.
It's legit sometime, and then it'd be like it's fraudulent.
Yeah, nobody following. Anyways, all right, switching gears. Wendy Williams. Recently, Wendy Williams' health has been a concern. Wendy Williams is now confined to a wheelchair. But here's a backstory. Wendy Williams reportedly restricted to a wheelchair, and as rumor has it, she's battling early dementia. New reports state things are getting worse for daytime TV show host Wendy Williams. Allegedly, Wendy's capability to walk has become diminished, and she's restricted to using a wheelchair now. According to the Ricky Smiley Morning Show, the Don, also known as Antoine Edwards, Twan explained the shocking update Wendy's health. It is being reported that the 57-year-old talk show host has completely lost all blood circulation in her legs and her feet. Wow. The Wendy Williams show host is allegedly suffering from early stages of dementia, according to Pop Culture Reporter. The entertainment group, Lionsgate, reported has Wendy stored away under lock and key to prevent another booze and vodka-filled depression. Twan said in an Instagram post. For the record, he also claimed Wendy's ex-husband and former manager Kevin Hunter is allegedly cheating on his fiancee Sharina Hudson. I don't see why they even throw that in there. Yeah. It's not even important. People just say anything.
Yeah,
this is trash reporting. This is what I'll say. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because we know what type of content Wendy Williams makes. We know the type of shit she said over the years. Some of the most disgusting shit. Some of the reports she has on people who are deceased or have illnesses. She reported about Method Man's wife having cancer when it should have never even been reported, and it wasn't even out in the ethos. She also talked about Method Man and her had sex back in the day and brought that up for absolutely no reason.
Drug use.
Yeah, drug use, all kinds of things. But here's the problem.
Also talking about people's sexuality.
Yeah, calling people gay and stuff. Here's the thing. I seen a comment when her health was mentioned, and some dude said, end quote, he said, man, fuck that bitch, right? And two things could be true. You can feel empathy for someone and say, man, she's sick, she's hurting. My prayers go out to her. But it's also true that a person who spent years tearing people down, that now that she is in a position of where her life is online, you do not have to feel sorry for her. You do not have to have empathy for someone like that.
Yeah.
But she dedicated her life to tearing motherfuckers down and talking shit about them. So by ignoring them or telling her to fuck herself, it would be the same energy that she put on other people. What we got to understand is sometimes people deserve the same energy. And sometimes a lot of people deserve just empathy. I'm the type of person that's going to give you empathy regardless. Like, hey, prayers go out to her. I got nothing bad to say. Even though she has something bad to say about people who have died.
Yeah.
Which is, it's just fucking nuts.
Yeah.
Like I don't get it. Recently, with the passing of young Dolph, people have been getting mad at Moneybagg Yo for not posting like R.I.P. Dolph or he didn't post nothing about Dolph and all of that. But truth be told, if Moneybagg Yo did not talk to Dolph while he was alive, then why the fuck would he post something about him in death?
Yeah.
If anything, and if anything, I could say, hey, honestly, he keeping the same energy. He just ain't saying nothing about nothing.
Yeah.
I think you should respect that, honestly. I think we live in a society that's too fake, where they expect you to post something about RIP and post a picture of somebody to show you have empathy. What if Moneybagg Yo actually called somebody from his camp and say, hey, I just want to say my condolences to Dolph. God bless y'all. I'm praying for his family.
Did they have any connection outside of both being from Memphis? Like, did they have songs together?
They did have songs together. They had a mixtape, I believe. One of like his early projects, Moneybagg Yo, Dolph had shouted him out.
Okay.
So they did have that connection. But due to the fact that Yo Gotti, who really put Moneybagg on like that, him and Yo Gotti, Dolph and Gotti had beef for years.
Yeah.
He was calling him all kind of names. He even dissed that whole label over there. So I don't know if he separated himself from Dolph or not. But to expect somebody to display empathy because somebody died, I don't see that, dog. Like, even Soulja Boy is a clown. But Soulja Boy was like, you expect for me to be saying sorry, this and that? Like, if I was dying, they probably laugh at me. And like at the same time, he should have just shut the fuck up, honestly.
It's Soulja Boy.
It would have been better to say nothing.
Yeah.
Like, Soulja Boy crazy, man.
Yeah, I think we have to, what happens a lot of times is like, because certain people are celebrities, it starts to become a cliche almost when we think of the whole RIP thing. Like it's like the person could have been the worst person on earth, and then as soon as they die, all their sins are forgiven, and then everyone has
good stories come out.
Yeah, exactly. But, that's the same person the same person that was doing all those things. Wendy Williams is the same person that was out on people's sexuality, talking about Method Man and his wife, talking about their past and, sleeping together and all these things. So I think a person, I wouldn't personally do it, but I can understand how someone wouldn't have that same energy as like, being sad or trying to empathize with a person like Wendy Williams when they pass away. Because even if you think about this situation, if this was another celebrity, Wendy Williams would be sitting on that couch, drinking her tea and speaking about this person's life. And even though they may not want this, this information to be out there, Wendy Williams will be sitting on that couch like, hey, such and such celebrity is going through it. They're saying that she's confined to a wheelchair and all this kind of stuff. So I just think like, just because they're a celebrity or just because they're popular or just because they live in the same city or whatever, we don't have to have that same energy as, this. And sometimes this stuff is just like, is kind of fake,
Yeah.
Like outside of like maybe Charlemagne, I don't know of like, many people that have like the greatest things to say about Wendy Williams. She's had a lot of run-ins and beef with a lot of different celebrities just by the type of platform that she has. So I can understand that energy.
Yeah. Wendy Williams, honestly, bro, I'll say this. She's just a trash human being. She really is. She's a trash human being because some of the shit that she's done over the years, it's like that's who she is, man. And she could be going through all the despair in the world. She got her sorry ass husband running around cheating on her, getting other women pregnant and shit. So you got your own drama going on, but you still got the nerve to talk about other people and make a living while you do it, yo. Like, that's the craziest thing, And now I'm not going to spend this time trashing Wendy Williams. I'm not going to do that, especially with the state she's in.
The coldest part? I'll let you finish. My bad. Go ahead.
The only reason why I'm bringing it up is to give you context of what kind of human being she is and has been all this time. And now the very person that talked about people in their most personal, private moments of despair, now she can't even walk and is confined to a wheelchair while going through dementia. So I'm not saying, oh, God got her for doing all the stuff she was doing. God got her back. Like, that's not cool. I'm not saying that.
Yeah, I don't think God operates like that either.
No.
But what I was saying is that
God don't be like, you paralyzed now.
What I was going to say was that she put in all these years of the Wendy Williams show and talking about all these people and releasing information that people didn't want to be outed and all this stuff. And then she gets sick or whatever happens. She's in the hospital. She gets taken away from her show. She does all that, puts in all this years of hard work, only to have her show continue on without her.
Wow.
There's different people, like different guest hosts that are filling in for her. And she has no control over, these people or if the show keeps going or if the show gets canceled.
I wonder if she does have control, though.
She doesn't. That's why there's different hosts that she's not picking these hosts.
Oh my God.
They're just filling in. They probably who knows what the contract looks like
she's
or
just
whatever.
A part of the machine.
Yeah. They probably named it after
God.
her but she probably doesn't own the likeness to the show and all that. So, yeah. It's just different people filling in for her.
Oh my goodness, dude. It's so crazy, man. You think about these slots, these time slots. Imagine if they just this is what they need to start doing, and they have not done this yet. In the near future, they will have podcasts on regular network TV. I guarantee it. That's how, like, podcasts have not penetrated that yet. Like, you know how the shows like The View and like Ellen, shows like that? I think there's going to start being some podcasts that take over that slot. But then, I say they won't be live, though.
I would say I would agree with you. I just think like it's not going to look. It's going to look very normal, if that makes sense. Like it's not going to look drastically different from a lot of the other shows, right? Because if you look at like a show like Undisputed, that's not drastically different from a normal podcast, right? You know, they may have some more production value and commercial breaks and, you know, different talking points and stuff like that. But if our podcast was on, you know, FS1 or whatever, it wouldn't look drastically different transitioning from Undisputed to...
You know what? You just said something, like a key point, which kind of destroys the point I just made. I said you'll see him on there, but the problem with it is you couldn't have an organic podcast. One, because it's on daytime television.
You got commercials and stuff.
You got commercials fucking everything up. Mm-hmm. So it's like you couldn't even have a real long form conversation. Mm-hmm. It would be fake, just like the shit has been on TV for all these years.
Yeah.
You know, what's the daytime shows, the most popular ones? Not Family Feud. Family Feud's a daytime show. Family Feud, The Price is Right. Price is Right might be the number one daytime show ever.
Yeah.
I've been watching. I haven't seen it in a long time. Is there still Drew Carey on there?
I think he's running it.
I think he's still running it. Mm-hmm. I was watching it back in the day when Bob Barker was doing it. Mm-hmm. Bob Barker got in trouble for touching up all those girls that was coming on there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was a lot of sexual harassment. He's old school. Uh-huh. He was one of those dudes that probably would try to grab by the pussy on the show.
Yeah.
The price is right, and so is your pussy. Come on down. You grab my pussy, sir.
He probably know the exact price of some breast implants, too.
These titties are $1,300. You just won the showcase.
That's wild.
Yeah, you can't get away with that sexual assault shit, Bob. They got his ass up off of there.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah, Bob was...
People have like this old school like way of just operating. Like, I am famous, I'm powerful, I'm rich, so I could touch some pussy.
The way Bob used to like put his arms around even the guests. It'd be like some hot college girl, and he'd be like, and behind the door number 1 is a new car. I don't know whose voice that is, but it's been the same voice for like fucking 50 years.
Dang.
It's probably like the son of the person that did that voice. Mm-hmm. What's funny too is the gifts versus the person that gets the gift on there. Like, it'll be a person that's 85 years. The fuck is it?
That's my car.
What the hell? I'm about to say, I thought that was mine at first.
Bob Barker looked disgusting.
Oh, you looked at it right now?
He's an old man. Yeah.
You talking about? You got to go back at least 20 years though.
I know. He looked, decent.
That motherfucker's old. How old is he? You see his Wikipedia?
Let me see.
I'm just gonna take a guess and say that Bob Barker is 87 years old.
He's 10 years older than that. He's 97 years old.
He's 97? God damn.
Yeah.
Whew. My goodness. Oh my goodness. He's been off The Price is Right for over 20 years now, I think. I won't say over 20.
2007.
2007 was last year? Mm-hmm. Wow.
Longest running daytime show game in North America television history.
Yeah, it's really entertaining too. Because what's hilarious about motherfuckers on The Price is Right, they always fuck up when they do the bids or at the beginning. Mm-hmm. They be like, how much for this toaster oven? Somebody dumb in the audience be like, $400. A toaster, motherfucker. He'd be like, I'll say $550.
Yeah.
And then somebody be like, $1, and they win every time.
Do you think there's a way, like, I know Family Feud is kind of like that with Steve Harvey.
Yeah.
But more of a, like an urban, this sounds so cheesy to say urban, but like more of our type of cultural, like game time, daytime show like that. Do you think there's a room for that? Or like, would it work?
For what? What do you mean?
Like The Price is Right, Family Feud, Jeopardy is not really daytime, but like somebody where it's like a real, I don't know, like a Charlemagne.
More like no, I don't think it'll work for daytime. Mm-hmm. It will never work for daytime. Mm-hmm. If you have a show that's more or less catered towards people of color on daytime TV, it just won't last. It might last maybe a few months. They're cutting that shit off. There was some black shows. Was it Blackish? They got cut off. It wasn't Blackish. It was something else. I think it was
Blackish. Is they're doing their last season. Yeah.
Okay, but it was another. What was the show with that comedian, the black dude? Damn it. Oh man, what's his name? The younger guy. Oh my goodness. He was like, he wrote the show.
What are you talking about? A daytime show?
No, not a daytime. It was a show that came on at night, but I forgot the network. but it was a comedian, and he wrote the show. Black dude, he's only like 32, 33 or something like that. But I forgot his name. But that show got cut the fuck off.
Yeah, canceled.
Yeah, and it dealt with a lot of different topics. Like it talked about,
Oh, you're talking about. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you got to look up that. Like, it's
What's
not
the
black.
dude's
It's
name?
not Blackish though.
I know exactly who you're talking about, and the name is on the tip of my tongue, but I can't. I think of the name. He does stand up.
The name of the show is his name.
Yeah, it has. God dang, I don't even. Mike, is it Michael?
Michael. It's something. Michael something. It's killing me. Somebody's probably listening to the podcast. Like, come on.
I know the answer.
I know the answer. Because I be getting frustrated sometimes when the podcast hosts don't know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gerard Carmichael.
Yeah.
Gerard Carmichael
Yeah.
show. God
There we go.
damn.
You go.
It took two black guys to figure out who the other black guy was.
How many
Fuck.
black guys does it take to guess Gerard?
How many black guys did it take to screw in the light bulb?
But yeah, his show did get canceled. I think sometimes it's a short leash on black shows. But
Not really, not in the 90s.
But you got to be successful though. Like,
yeah,
you gotta definitely do numbers. But even a lot of the shows, some shows were not actually that long running, but they just made such a cultural impact in the short stint that they had that it kind of, and then a lot of the shows be syndicated too. So, like if you think about the Jamie Foxx show. I think it may have only been a handful of seasons, maybe like 4 seasons. But since it played so much on BET afterwards, it kind of felt like a little bit bigger than it was at the time. And even the Wayans brothers, their show was syndicated too, like on BET. And it may have only been like 3 seasons of that. So, yeah.
Yeah, black family shows in the 90s was big, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, you couldn't, like, in the 90s, the black shows is probably some of the most successful shows. Think about it. What show in the 90s was more it's maybe, you could argue the show Friends, but what show was more successful than Fresh Prince, bro? Let's be real.
No, I'm going to take numbers out of it because... oftentimes, like we're in our own worlds. So I've never really watched Seinfeld, but Seinfeld was hugely successful.
That was fucking massive. Seinfeld was huge.
They be having like statistics, and it'll be like the most watched sitcom ever, and you'd be like, I never really was a fan of that show, but definitely like from a cultural impact standpoint. Like Fresh Prince, as far as like not only the doing the numbers, but just like influencing like shoes. Like Will Smith was actually fresh. Like it wasn't a thing. Even launching people's careers.
Oh my God.
You got Tyra Banks on there, Queen Latifah.
Yes, Jada,
as far as like
everybody.
guest cameos. Yeah.
Damn, that's true.
And then certain episodes where you'd be like, yo, like, like dealing with discrimination, racism, dealing with, daddy issues, And
they did it in such a masterful way, right? But I don't want to jump from Fresh Prince, but dude, Seinfeld was fucking massive.
Yeah.
It was massive. Like the way they affected culture in a certain way. Like you always remember Seinfeld having 8 million boxes of cereal on top of his refrigerator. And then I didn't realize it, but I started doing that. And most people in America started putting cereal on top of their refrigerator. I wonder if the Seinfeld show has anything to do with people, influence people putting cereal on top of their refrigerators. I'm not, I'm curious. And then that fucking music. What is everybody doing? What's going on? Elaine, what's going on?
Who else? There was,
Did you see when Kramer lost his mind and started calling people niggers and shit?
Yeah. Was it a heckler in the crowd or something?
It was a heckler in the crowd, and then he was like, if this was such and such, have a pitchfork up your black ass, nigger. And then,
That sounds crazy.
And then one dude at first started laughing because he thought it was a joke, and then he was like, ha ha ha. Like, no, Kramer really lost his shit, man.
You know what? Another show that was pretty big was Frasier.
Oh shit! Was that Kelsey Grammer, right? Frasier was huge, and he had his brother. I forgot his brother's name on that show, but I think the brother is the one that plays on the Family Guy. That plays what's the baby on Family Guy? No, it's not. I don't think it's the same.
Yeah,
person.
because that's Seth MacFarlane. That's his voice.
It's Seth MacFarlane. That's right. I'm tripping.
Kelsey Grammer also
Girlfriends. That's Girlfriends.
That when I found that out, I was like, "What?"
Kelsey Grammer got a thing for black women, dude.
Really?
Totally. Oh yeah. Yeah. And that was a wildly successful show.
Yeah.
It really was a good show.
I ain't gonna front. I never really cared for the show growing up, but I used to watch it because I was attracted to every single woman on that show.
Yeah, I kind of liked the show. I ain't gonna lie.
Not that I didn't like. I was just young. You know what I mean? That's not really for a young 12, 11-year-old boy to watch.
Yeah, Your Girlfriends was a pretty good show. It was hilarious because it was a bunch of women going through women shit and you literally watching the show.
Yeah.
But I didn't have cable for growing up, so I was really had to watch that shit.
What's the name? Tracy Ellis Ross.
Yeah, Tracy Ellis Ross was thick. She had some big eyes, but she was thick.
What's big? What's bigger, her booty or her eyes?
It might be Ty. She always, I got big eyes myself, but she always looks surprised. Like, oh shit.
That's funny.
You ever surprise a dog and be like, oh, the dog be like, oh, like, damn.
That's funny.
Yeah, but Fresh Prince was a huge show. The thing about Fresh Prince, it was a little different than any other big show in the 90s, is it crossed over cultures. There was tons of white people who loved it, black people, Mexican. Everybody loved Fresh Prince. Everybody loved Fresh Prince. Everyone.
Yeah. Family Matters was huge too.
Family Matters was fucking massive. That's another show.
Family Matters was an interesting show because Steve Urkel was not even supposed to be the main guy.
He's just a cameo, but people loved him so much they brought him as a permanent. Yeah, and what's crazy is Steve will walk in there with them high pants and that's TV was so iconic in the 90s, man.
Yeah.
My goodness.
I think that there's still really great shows now, but it's the same. I think there's the quality hasn't dipped off. I just think that there's so many streaming services. Shows come out in bulk now. We're not waiting on, for the most part, we're not waiting week to week for shows to come out. So it's that type of energy is never going to be replicated because it's just too. We got Netflix, we got Apple TV, we got Hulu, Tubi, and all these different HBO Max and all these different things. Even the time frame in which we watch things is going to be off. When Ozark comes out, you may catch it third week it comes out. I may catch it the second week it comes out, and then we got to talk about it on the fourth week because that's when we finally.
I think the influx of the internet. Or not the influx, but the birth of the internet changed how we consume things. It did it little by little over the years until we got to now. You know? But I don't want to jump all over the place, but I will say one of my favorite movies coming up was actually the Breakfast Club. It came out in '85.
I gotta watch that,
dude. It's a good movie. It may not be that great to you because we come from we got a gap in years, but
no, I like those when I watch those type of movies, I watch them for the time frame. I'm not watching it with my 2021 expectations.
Got it, 100%. But I like the Breakfast Club, just the idea of having a group of different kids from different backgrounds, different socioeconomic, setups, and having them in one room in detention. I think they could completely remake that movie today. It'd probably be the best time to remake a movie like that now, because with all the things going on in the world, you have a black person in there, a gay person, a white guy, a liberal, a conservative. You have all these different people from all these different walks of life have these conversations. I think that would be dope. I think that'd be a pretty cool movie to remake. And I'm not really a big fan of remakes, but like, yeah, that was a really good movie.
Yeah,
really good movie.
That's dope. I like a lot of those like those 90, like I would call them like teen movies, I guess, like predominantly like, you know, showing kids in high school and, you know, all
The
those
Lost
movies.
Boys, the vampire movie, that was a pretty good one.
Yeah. What about like The Outsiders?
The Outsiders, that was another one. The Outsiders, when the fuck did that come out? Hold on. What's The Outsiders? The Outsiders, that one with Pony Boy and all them? Oh, yeah. They stabbed him. I think that came out in the 80s, actually.
Greases and the Socials. That was probably late 80s, huh?
Yeah, I think it was late 80s.
Didn't it have like Tom Cruise in there or something like that?
I think it did, yeah.
It was a couple famous actors in there.
Yeah.
But yeah. A lot of those movies, like I was saying, sometimes it could come off a little cheesy just because you got to think about like the eras and the way we used to talk. But a lot of those movies still stand up.
Yeah, you gotta watch. You gotta watch it like in the times.
Yeah,
there's certain movies I could watch right now. We just completely jumped all over the place. But one of the movies I could totally watch and watch it all the way through is like Forrest Gump is one of them.
Yeah,
I could totally watch that. Really, and that movie should never be remade.
I hope. Yeah, I don't see them doing that. But you never know. It's Hollywood.
I think the main person that taught me to never trust a hoe was Forrest Gump. Because he loved Jenny so motherfucking much. Yeah. She even got HIV and he's still like, I love Jenny. He's like, dude, leave her alone.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. And you know what's sad is like Jenny was the most horrible person ever. And fucking Forrest loved her the whole time.
Just loved her. That's that movie is so great, I think, primarily because it didn't show you all the most juiciest parts of the movie. You know what I mean? Like, it was certain, like, the stuff with his mom and getting him into school and stuff like that. And stuff
she was
with
fucking
Jenny.
that teacher.
Yeah, exactly. Like, we knew Jenny was a hoe, but we didn't see exactly all the different things that she was doing. And even, it's like Bubba Gump Shrimp and all these different things, they did it in a way where it was like, they didn't show you all these different things in real time, but like when you watching the movie, you figure out like, oh, okay, this happened. Oh, he died. Oh, this, this kind of thing. So, yeah, even just the iconic shot of him like running out of his freaking
braces breaking off.
Yeah,
you never know. I think that this generation, honestly, or this time, completely is failing on making iconic movies because we're too hell bent on remaking things because it makes money. Yeah. I can't think of any, and I could be wrong, but the 90s had some of the best, and it was like the last times for iconic original films. I mean, we are fucking Fast 9 right now. They literally went to outer space. Ludacris is in outer space, Keith.
That's crazy.
Who would have ever thought that NASA would send Ludacris to outer space? They shot him off. He's like, Luda. Feels good, don't it? Oh, man.
That's crazy.
Crazy times, man. All right. Switching gears. All right. Switching gears. The internet and technology has created more distance. What I mean by that is the internet the internet and technology has created more distance between people based on our like perceived realities of the things we do within the machine or within technology. For example, social media. I'll give you an example of what happened to me the other day on Thanksgiving. So as I was coming home, I seen someone that I've seen on social media a million times. She kind of dresses a little provocative. I don't judge her, but it's kind of cute. You know, I never popped at her because I never wanted her like that. But I happened to see her in a 7-Eleven, and I just said hi, you know. And she kind of had this look as if she had this social awkwardness and didn't want to speak. And I was just like, oh. And she's like, oh, hey, what's up? And gave me like an awkward hug when I didn't even care to have a hug. I just was saying hi, like a normal person. How a normal person would interact with you in the 90s. See, the only interaction we had in the 90s was when we physically seen each other. Yeah. You could never see anyone in the 90s unless you physically seen them. So the feeling of actually speaking, it meant a little bit more because it's more personal. But when someone interacts with you online, then they almost feel like they don't have to in person. And it's really strange and it's awkward. That's one way that...
How does she look, though? Did she look like done up, or was she look
She wasn't
like
done up.
casual?
She just was like a regular girl.
Yeah.
Just a regular American, maybe she might have been embarrassed with how she looked, or I don't know. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, I'm just saying hi. That's it. And it destroyed how we interact. Another example of this technology is text messaging and how it's destroying how we interact. For one, it's a short form version of any type of emotion or feeling. So, for example, I was telling Keith, like, the more that I have interest in something, or excuse me, the more I have interest in a woman, I don't really text them. I don't really text them because if you're texting someone all the time, it's going to destroy the attraction. I much rather use the text messaging to set up dates so you can see me in person and get used to understanding my real personality than some bullshit text personality. And then by the time you see me, I can't live up to this like idea of what you thought about me in a text message. You know what I mean? And it's weird. And we do it too much. We communicate so much in short form that it's destroying how we communicate in person.
Yeah, I agree. Especially the younger generation. And I am like, we kind of grew up with phones like in the latter years of our lives, as far as like social media and text messaging and stuff like that. I think probably when text messaging became like a free thing, because certain plans you had it like maybe when I was in high school, we probably had like a limited number of text messages that you could use over the course of a month and stuff like that. And then I don't know what year it was, but it was 1 year where like everything became free. And I think that was one of the worst things that could happen to us as communicators. I remember even there was a transition where like I would text so much or like be on Twitter or whatever, Facebook or whatever, messaging people, that I almost forgot how to talk on the phone.
That's crazy.
Like, because coming up like heavy, like maybe elementary school, like using a house phone and stuff like that, you chop it up with your friends and whatnot. And I could chop it up for 30 minutes, 40 minutes or whatever, tying up the phone line and all that. And then once the text messages started to come around, you realize it was kind of, it was much easier. You could text multiple people at once. You could get across a message pretty fast. And then I would just remember like not even knowing what to talk about when I got on the phone with certain people, or not even wanting to like communicate with people over the phone because it was uncomfortable. But it like you were saying, it kind of takes a toll on us. I think sometimes what happens with like women like that or just people like that is you kind of lose yourself on the internet. So for some people, they can have like, they can be a version of themselves on the internet. They can be like the most beautiful person. They can be the great dancer. They can be the witty person, the most the rich person, whatever the case may be.
Right.
And then when you see that person in person, or when somebody that they know follows them, or somebody that they know communicates with them primarily via Instagram or Facebook, sees them in person, they're almost like, oh my gosh, like this is like real life. Like, what do I do now?
They have a fear of being underwhelming.
Yeah.
Because what happens is, what sucks is whenever you get to show your personality or yourself in a certain way, you control every angle that you put your booty on.
Yeah.
You control every angle that you put your titties on. You control every picture and every filter that makes yourself look a certain way. But in real life, your booty is really that size. In real life, there are no filters.
Yeah.
In real life, you have to know how to communicate. And the biggest issue is we've gone so deep into social media that in real life, our skills have been diminished and they're getting worse.
Yeah.
And it's bad. There are some people, literally, it's sad. This is why I would tell dudes that are around my age, stay away from young women. The reason why is if a woman's like 23 or something and you're fucking 36, if you try to talk to her on the phone and she hangs up or she doesn't answer and she just texts you, it's like, what are you doing, bro? You didn't even grow up like that. Like, we actually talked on the phone. We actually expressed ourselves. What takes you 30 minutes to express in a text message will take you about 4 minutes on a phone call.
Yeah.
But don't nobody want to talk. Everybody acts so important. They act so busy. You're not busy like that. There are very few people in this world that are busier than me. I'm always at work, and my work days be long, right? But people will really act like, text me. I can't talk right now. Just text me. And it's like, you sitting on the couch. What the fuck? What the fuck you talking about? Text you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a sad thing, man. And the thing, and like you said right now, it's people that are our age that didn't grow up like that are becoming victims of these same things where they kind of, and I think the people that are our age kind of get consumed in it more so than younger people sometimes. Like, it's different for a person that, they may have had a cell phone ever since they were 8, 9 years old. My niece is 5 right now. She has a tablet. So she's kind of grew up in it. You know what I mean? So for her, when she gets to be 15, 16 years old, and to have her normal form of communication be via, texting or DMing or whatever the case may be, that's different. But for us, like, and also, we know the ramifications of, what texting, what social media can do to us. So we'd be a fool to just kind of like keep falling into these like bad habits. We know that Instagram is bad for our mental health.
Yeah.
We know that it's also triggering in certain aspects of our lives. If you're a jealous person and you're seeing beautiful people on your timeline all the time, it's not good for you. You know that if you feel you feel a lack of self-worth, or you feel you're not as successful as you should be, and you see people buying new cars, or getting new jobs and all these different things, it just kind of brings out the worst for us. And people that are dealing with some certain mental health issues. So you would think that, us being aware of that, we would lean more into like these in-person interactions. Hey, like, let's go out to lunch. Hey, give me a call when you get off of work. Or, hey, those type of things versus like just trying to text all day.
And the thing I think that what makes it sad is the obsession with celebrity in the 90s, right, is a lot different than now. Back in the day, the obsession with celebrity in the 90s, the celebrity was still able to have mystery about themselves because we didn't have social media. So we didn't have this platform where you could take pictures of a fucking celebrity at a restaurant and put it on Instagram. We didn't have that in the 90s. So now that we have that, there's too much access to celebrities. Did you know, like, it was weird too, somebody will walk up to you and say something about a celebrity and assume that it's important news. They'll be like, dang, hey, did you know that David Beckham is dating such and such? And I'm thinking, like, who gives a fuck? Like, what is this doing for my life? Mm-hmm. Nothing. Mm-hmm. But the obsession with celebrity too has drawn a lot of people. I want to jump all over the place, but it's drawn a lot of people to certain behaviors. Another one is like plastic surgery is at an all-time high. I was driving down Rosedale, and it was a girl with a Christmas hat on, and it had like sales for Brazilian butt lifts and lip injections and all of this. And it says
it's a sign of. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
It's a sign of an ass down the street.
And like, had a needle next to it.
Yeah, and the needle poking it in the butt. Yeah.
Yeah, and it said like the BBL or whatever. Mm-hmm. And this all came from Instagram. A lot of these women start getting these procedures, and now just the average girl that works at freaking AT&T is getting ass injections.
There might actually, and I'm pretty sure this is true, there might actually be someone in this building that does that.
Really? Mm-hmm. They can't do it in here, though.
They doing something in here. Wow. Because I had ran into her. I think I had my camera in my hand or something like that, and she was asking me questions.
I don't understand.
And I was like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And she was basically saying like that she does like she does something in there, something along those lines. So yeah.
Like the thing about it, bro, you can't tell women what they should do with their bodies or anything, but I would really want to know the root cause. Like, I want to get a butt lift. I want to get a Brazilian butt. Why do you want to do that? I don't know, because it just looks better. What influenced you to do that?
Just to see where where
Yeah, I want to know the origin. What's the origin story behind why you want to put fat in your ass? Like, what is it that made you want to do that? Women did not, bro. It was weird too. Like, you talk about the internet and the things and the behaviors that it came from. In the 90s, you could be skinny and like Aaliyah was the shit, bro. We all loved Aaliyah. She was flat chested, didn't have no booty, but she was beautiful, and everyone loved Aaliyah. Everyone loved Brandy. All kind of different girls, all kind of different women, skinny. Jada Pinkett was people loved Jada too back in the day.
Yeah.
All these women looked like that, and men loved it.
Yeah.
And a lot of women nowadays will blame a dude like, well, us, we're being body shamed and blah, blah. Like, no, that's not why you getting cosmetic surgery. You getting surgery because you on Instagram too fucking much.
Get off the gram.
I've never heard a dude say, man, she need to get some lip injections. She sure could use she sure could use a fake booty. Like, I've never heard dudes say shit like that.
Yeah.
And the times that I have heard men body shame is when they did get rejected on some corny shit. Like, I've heard dudes be like the girl, I'd be like, no, I have a boyfriend. Fuck you then, you fat bitch. And it's like, now you calling her fat bitch now because she shut you down, bro? Come on, man. But yeah, it's just a strange time. And I feel like social media has exacerbated that and probably been one of the main causes of the things we're seeing.
Yeah. I can remember, like, similar to that experience you had in 7-Eleven, where it was probably like right around the time where I graduated high school. That was like we were going through that transition of like people communicating primarily on, maybe a Twitter DM or something like that. And I can remember girls saying like how weird dudes were acting, or like one example was like a dude they'll be talking every single day, like texting or whatever, and they'll see the girl out at the mall and wouldn't come up and say hi to her or nothing. But as soon as they got out of their presence, they would be like, hey, was that you in the mall, like wearing the black shirt? And she'd be like, like, duh, we made eye contact, what I mean?
Yeah.
Or even like how some dudes will, in that same era, they'll meet a girl, they'll get her number, and like as soon as they get the number, they'll be texting her like all kind of like strange stuff. So like, hey, when can we hang out? Or like all like just the strange behaviors, or that almost the equivalent of like liquid courage that some people have when it comes to like communicating.
But that's what happens when the internet doesn't carry over to reality.
Yeah.
The internet is like a backwards math equation. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't add on to reality.
Yeah.
It's like it subtracts from it.
Yeah.
Whereas actual reality can enhance how you conduct yourself on social media. Right? People who use social media as like the main way they communicate, they tend to be disrespectful in comment sections. They call people names. You ain't nothing but a bitch. You a punk, and I will beat your ass. And then you see them in person, and they'll be the same person like,
twiddling their thumbs, huh?
yeah. You was talking all that shit in those comments, and I'm standing right here, motherfucker. But if you actually knew how to respect people in person, and you would carry that over to social media, you would know better than to say that.
You know what?
Eventually, you're gonna see the motherfuckers you talking bad about.
You know what I think is kind of weird too? I was in line at Target, and this guy was in line, but he was like scrolling through TikTok, and he might have been like in his 30s, maybe. He seemed like he was dealing with a little bit of alopecia. But he was just scrolling through TikTok while he was just waiting in the self-checkout line. And for some reason, I just thought that was extremely strange, because you're almost not that you need to be secret about like your scrolling, but it was just kind of like out in the forefront, and he had his volume on and stuff too. And you know how it is with TikTok. It could be like one video about sports and the next one some girls twerking, and you know what I mean? So it just was like kind of odd to me that the dude was just kind of like passing his time by like scrolling through TikTok.
Yeah, what you have to learn is you don't need this shit, man. I was headed to Chico last week, and this dude was literally hypnotized by his phone, bro. I swear to God. I was driving down to 99. I was headed north, and the traffic started stopping a little bit because there's a lot of road construction going on. And as I'm heading down, this guy starts leaning into my lane, so I blow my horn, and then he straightens back out, and he just starts driving again. And then not too long after that, he starts veering back into my lane. I blow the horn again. Then literally, bro, I'm not fucking playing. He does this shit again. This time his tire's going into my lane. I blow the horn. And I'm like, dude, I better if this guy does it. So then he started doing it again. I just held that shit. I literally held that shit for a while. And when I started passing him up, I looked into he had a van. I looked into the van. This motherfucker
lit up, huh?
Lit up with his phone. He's on his phone. And then I blew it, and then I rolled the window down while I was holding the air horn.
Yeah.
And I looked, and he just didn't even give a fuck that I was blowing the horn, nothing.
The weirdest part is when those people are like, and I've seen this sometimes too, when people are like scrolling through like social media.
Oh my God.
It's one thing to be like, yo, like, you know, I'm on my way, like you're shooting a quick text or you're responding to something or whatever the case may be, just answering a quick text or something. That's one thing. But when you are like doing something that is generally reserved for the confines of your home,
right?
Or you kicking it on your couch, you literally on the 99 scrolling through Instagram. Like, what in the world?
That's fucking nuts.
That is so crazy.
I bet you there's some people that scroll to social media while they having sex, bro.
Man, this pussy ain't that good.
Debbie scrolling through TikTok, dude hitting it from the back. Booty so big, her Lord have mercy.
God damn.
No, I'd be like this. He'd be like, do it, Kakara. I've given everything.
That's crazy. He's scrolling through Twitter like, damn, that nigga Steph Curry going off tonight.
Oh, that's gotta be, that's low-key questionable. How you hitting something you hard watching Steph Curry shoot? Like, what's getting you hard? The girl or Steph?
Oh, man.
Oh, man.
That's a trip.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
What are some popular sounds on TikTok? I'm trying to remember.
I don't know. I don't be on there that heavy as I used to.
Nah, I'd be like... She make it clap, clap. She make it clap, clap.
Definitely those challenges. What's the challenge where they drop down and it's like a whole different outfit? What was that?
Oh, the busted challenge?
Busted challenge.
Oh
yeah.
my God. Mm-hmm. You know what? I don't want to say I'm judging women because they doing that. But I feel like there's a whole nother level of attention. And when you go for the cheap shit, it kind of says something about you. I don't know what it says, but it says something.
Yeah.
And it's kind of off-putting.
Yeah.
Like it's certain shit that men do on social media, like as far as like the challenges go. Oh, bro, this is the worst one, dog. This one's worse than any challenge I've ever seen women do. It's a challenge where it's like 5 dudes and they all got their shirts off. And then like one dude walks in front of the camera and does like a little dance or whatever. And then he walks in, another guy comes in and he does something. Then he walks off and all the dudes got their shirt off. I'm like, bro, there's no way.
What is that called?
I don't know what it's called, but it's like it'll be a song playing. Imagine seeing one dude, right? Mm-hmm. And one dude is he's doing the lyrics with his hands. And then as soon as he exits the screen, another dude comes in.
Yeah.
And it's like 5 dudes.
A Chippendale challenge.
And it's like, bruh. Ain't no way you could be straight doing this. Ain't no way you could be straight. Somebody sucking dick in there.
I'd be like, I don't know if this is like, I won't call it like homophobic, but I'd be uncomfortable around, unless we like playing sports or something. Right. Just chilling around the crib with like your shirt off or surrounded by a bunch of different dudes. Yeah, it just feels uncomfortable for me.
That's bad. That's kind of like, I don't get how some dudes, like, it's some dudes that be running trains, like it's a bunch of weird stuff going on in college life. It's dudes that really be running trains on girls.
Yeah.
Which, like, hey, well, here's the thing. I guess this is a little bit of the bias and the double standard, where if a woman has 2 dudes they call it a train. But if it's a dude with two girls, they just call it a threesome.
Yeah. That's not technically though. Like it's still if it's a one girl and then two guys and the guys are penetrating her at the same time, it's still a threesome.
Yeah,
the train is more so like one nigga, you know what I'm saying, he handle his business and he bust and then he dip and then one dude,
man.
you know, that's a
what's bad about that is like that's weird because it's like how many you be around all these dudes, how are y'all doing this?
Yeah. I don't know.
That's a lot, man.
There's a lot going on.
That's a lot. But I'm not gonna lie. Maybe this is my insecurity, but I don't know if I could take it if a chick was like, "Yeah, I've been with two guys at the same time." I don't know if my ego can handle that.
Yeah, it's far less stuff that I could barely handle myself. So.
Yeah, I mean, when I was in college, I got wild and I had a couple of threesomes. It was both two guys. It was fun.
Yeah,
it was a lot of fun. I had fun. Mm-hmm. And it's like in your core, you don't want to judge her because you know she's probably a cool person, but it's just like, damn.
Yeah,
you had two dudes at the same time.
Like, where's the respect for yourself? Yeah, it's always a good dude that end up with that type of
yeah, it'd be the good.
Like you'll be like 4 months in and she'll be like, yeah, y'all getting ready to plan your whole life together, move in together. Vacations, y'all naming kids, and then she'd be like,
there's this video out.
He'd be like, God dang.
Yeah. Some people that ain't proud of that. Mm-hmm. I forgot it was some girl that was on Facebook saying like, why is it such a big deal if a woman was with two dudes at the same time? It's just a regular threesome, and it's like
it's just a regular threesome.
I don't know, man.
It's not, I don't even know if it's a threesome, but it's just what doing that says about the person. Just like I guess a way a woman could judge us for whatever sexual exploits. I've never
had a threesome, and I don't care for one, to be honest.
Yeah,
I genuinely don't care for a threesome. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people think that every man wants to have two women at the same time. I don't give a fuck about that.
Yeah, it's There's nothing wrong with that. I don't know what I want personally, but I have a girlfriend now, but I'm just saying, in a past life.
You should be a janitor the way you clean that up. Oh, man. Dang, I wonder if somebody listened to this podcast right now. Some girl is like, I don't see what the big deal about two guys is. I've done that all the time.
Yeah, it's just normal for her.
It's just normal for me.
That's the thing about like college, is like I won't call things like normalized, but there's certain experiences that women and men have been through, and it seems wild, like in the real world, but college is its own, like,
it is,
Pandora's box in a sense.
Yeah, you don't want to open up Pandora's box.
Yeah,
you might find out all kinds of dicks in there.
Yeah, for sure.
Sad.
I can only imagine like some of the stories that are like women are not telling their husbands, and
course.
Stuff like that. Yeah.
I've been on the outside looking in. Like I've been in some parties back in the day. I'm chilling having a beer, and then you see like a girl walk out with two dudes, and she's like happy, and I'm like, was they smoking weed in there? What's going on in there?
Yeah,
like it's none of my business, but I'm like, I think they was fucking in there.
Yeah, but
nobody will find out.
Especially like sports and stuff too.
Yeah, I had to low key like me and like two other dudes had to low key like had this dude back off because he was trying to get this girl in the room and she didn't want to go in there.
Yeah,
and I was like, hey man, leave it alone, bro.
Yeah,
like, leave it alone.
Yeah, dudes be weird like that.
Yeah, dudes be weird like that. Acting real rapey, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
That's not cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had that happen. I was at Padre. Oh yeah, I was at the Padre. Oh my God, this had to be at least 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. And I was at the Padre. I was up there with the homie, and I ran into this girl, and she was like, she had an accent like she was from Australia or something. Mm-hmm. And then I bought her a drink. We just talked. It was like innocent though, but she's pretty hot. Mm-hmm. And I was just talking to her, wasn't nothing serious. And some dude that I barely know that I used to go to the gym with him. Whenever they see you around a woman, some dudes act like they know you better than they do.
Yeah.
just so
be
they could
cool.
try to get attention from the woman. And then that didn't work. Like, she was still just talking to me.
Yeah.
And then he was like really trying to move in and really trying to talk to her and shit. And I'm just like, this guy's a fucking weirdo.
Yeah.
Like, this guy is really rapey. I literally feared for that girl's safety when he did that. I'm like, this dude's had a whole switch go off in his mind.
He's that aggressive. You never know.
It was real lurky, man.
Yeah.
Really lurky. And I was like, hey, you want me to go out? I'm about to leave. I'm going to go ahead and walk you out. She's like, yes. You walk me out. That's when I knew she was not comfortable around that dude.
Yeah. Dudes be pressing up on women too much.
Yeah, man. But yeah, there's that. Don't got much else, man. Where we at, brother?
135.
Okay. Shit, go ahead and wrap it up.
That's a cool. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, man. What?
How was your Thanksgiving?
Thanksgiving was good, man. Thanksgiving was good. Went to see my pops, seen some extended friends, family.
That's cool.
Had a decent time. All the holidays about to me is family, man. That's we gotta link up with the fam. Your brother told me that y'all was having somewhere. The Christmas party was.
We're going to Course Gold. So we have an Airbnb for like 4 days or something. So
shit.
Yeah.
Damn.
So most people from my mom's side of the family, they'll be down there either for the day or spending the night for the whole weekend.
Where is that
at? It's up north. I think it's like an hour and a half from here, maybe.
Where
so. Course Gold.
I don't know where the hell that is.
Yeah, I think it might be in like the Sequoia area. Yeah, it's like in the mountains. I think we picked it primarily because it's going to be like it's a real winter.
Yeah.
So we might get some snow maybe or
dope.
So if you if you ain't doing that, I don't know.
I just don't know what days it is. If any of it falls on the weekend, I could go out.
Yeah, I don't know what day Christmas is on, but whatever day Christmas or even the day after, whatever, you could slide through.
Get the dates right. We'll figure all that when we'll figure out all the logistics once we get off the podcast.
Yeah.
But hey, man, check it out, folks. I hope you guys all had a great Thanksgiving, and hopefully nobody fucked themselves up trying to fry a turkey.
It'd be too many fires.
It's too many videos, but I hate to say this. But if you starting a fire because you cooked the turkey, you're probably stupid. Because if you follow instructions, you will not have a fire.
Are they putting it in there wet or something like that?
What's happening is people are putting too much oil in, first of all. What that does is when you it's very simple, like science. When you put something solid into a liquid that is in a confined space, it's going to push it. It's going to push it out. But when you put too much, it's not. They want to make sure they put enough to submerge the turkey. But when they put too much, it's going to splash it out. And then on top of that, they leave the fucking flame on. You're supposed to turn the flame off, then put the turkey in the fire, and then you turn it back on. You will never have a fire if you turn the fire off. Literally. Yeah. All those big explosions is because they left the fucking flame open, and when the oil got on it, it started a grease fire.
Because they were like the way that they were explaining it was like, stop frying your turkeys because this is what's happening.
No, it's just people are fucking stupid. That's all it is.
Yeah,
they got these new fryers that are in the house. Those look cool. You see them? It's like a big square. It looks like a big square, and you put the peanut oil or whatever oil you're gonna use, and it's got this tray. And you slowly drop it into the grease and it fries it. It's so cool. Fried turkey is the best turkey by far.
You ain't got to worry about all the explosions and stuff.
No, well, inside, no, you don't got to worry about the explosions. It's not going to be an explosion because it's electric. So even if it's a big mess and grease is everywhere, it will not catch anything on fire. So that's the positive of doing it inside. On top of that, what's dope is like, bro, oven turkey's cool, but it takes too long.
Yeah, it's like a long time.
The dope thing about it is I could make the turkey the same day. It'll be done in not very long. It'll be done, and you just let it sit for about 2.5 hours.
How long does it take to cook? The deep fry.
14-pound turkey. Let's do the math. Because it's supposed to cook so long per pound of meat, I believe. How long to cook 14-pound turkey? Fried. All right. It says, let's see. Wow, bro. It says a deep fried turkey typically requires 3.5 minutes per pound. So a 12 to 14 pound bird will take 40 to 50 minutes to reach 165 degrees. When checking the bird's internal temperature, use the hook that attaches to the poultry rack to slowly lift the turkey. So under an hour.
Yeah, that's solid.
To get a juicier turkey, man. Mm-hmm. I don't get why everybody's not frying turkey.
Yeah.
That oven shit is decent, but it's like
it takes forever.
Yeah, you're burning up too much electric doing that. Mm-hmm. Pointless, man.
Yeah.
Get with it, folks. Fry your turkey.
Yeah.
Spread the word. Tell them a trucker's mind sent you.
But definitely thankful for all the listeners out there that have been 100%. Rocking with us. The numbers are still just gradually creeping up, and it's it's been so dope to see like the progress we've made. So thankful for everybody out there.
100%, man. Not to mention if wherever you guys are from, I'm seeing a lot of listens, like a lot of different people coming from like Corona and some other places. I want to shout you guys out before we get out of here. Hold on one quick second, folks. I'm going through my phone. I'm looking up the analytics so I could properly give you the right shout outs. Let's see. All right. We got a lot of listeners out of Corona. Shout out to Corona. All the people listening out of Corona, tell a friend, man. Tell a friend to tune in. We appreciate you guys. Mm-hmm. Ontario. And then send us some follows on IG, man. Head over to Keith's. Keith's is,
K-Fings, K-F-I-N-G-S.
At K-Fings, F-I-N-G-S. And then me will be at A Trucker's Mind Podcast. So shout out to Corona, Ontario. Shout out to Bakersfield. Shout out to Albuquerque, New Mexico. Shout out to Pine Mountain Club, Delano, California. Moreno Valley. Kerwinsville, excuse me. Sorry about that, you guys. Shout out to Arvin, Frederick, Los Angeles, Danville, Seattle, Coolidge, Guilford, Huntington Park, Addison, Hancock, Bloomfield. Shout out to Compton. We got some gangbangers listening to the podcast. Madison Heights, South Pasadena, North Hills. Shout out to Brooklyn, yo. R.I.P. Biggie.
Is there?
Yeah, man. And last but not least, shout out to San Francisco. We got a lot of people in the Bay Area starting to catch up to the content. So
that's dope.
Whoever's out there in San Francisco or wherever else, tell a friend to tell a friend, man.
Yeah.
That'd be a great place to do a podcast tour.
Where?
Or a live podcast, like San Francisco. Mm-hmm. Go out there. And first of all, we would have to do one in Bakersfield if we do one in San Francisco. But, we don't have a massive following, but it's not bad to try it, man.
Let's just do it.
Go out there. It's a lot of Asians in San Francisco, so me and Keith could bring as much rice as we could fit in my car.
And no Asian hate from me.
No,
not today.
I'm just kidding. You guys are cool, man. You guys are cool with me. Asian lives matter, man.
That's funny. Yeah, also make sure you guys subscribe to the YouTube channel.
Yes.
Subscribe, hit the like button, comment.
We got a few more subscribers to the YouTube.
We'll be getting 2 a month. It'd be cool.
Yeah, you see, like the slow progress of this shit doesn't affect us because we know long term it's going to be extremely successful.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, the YouTube is not doing great, but it's okay. We're new. Mm-hmm. You shouldn't have expectations of this massive following when you just start something. Be patient. And continue to be steadfast in your journey, and you will reach your destination.
Yeah, man.
But till then, we'd like to thank you guys for making it to the end of this podcast. If you listen, thank you for listening to A Trucker's Mind Podcast. I'm Eddie McGee.
It's your boy K-Fings.
We're out of here.
Peace.